Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about the politics of, here we go, of secular, sacred, and myth, and the hierarchy of the three. Let's talk about it. All right, so right now, okay, we are in the middle of one of the worst elections in the history of America. We have just horrible choices to make, horrible choices to pick from. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, come on, it's like septuagenarian party. It's one guy doesn't want the job, one guy really wants to keep the job, but really probably shouldn't have it. It's just horrible, just terrible, right? But right now, I think what's really happening in this current election is this classic division between secular and sacred. And I've talked about this before, and the reason why is it's a major hinge in American politics. And today I want to talk about a third pillar, okay, which is myth. All right, so let's get into this. So let me define these terms: secular, sacred, myth. All right, so secular, these are people who believe there is no supernatural. These are people who believe, okay, the world is the world, I am me, the material world is the material world, that's it. There is nothing beyond the natural. There is only the natural, right? There is no supernatural. Secularists, they believe, and when you're a secularist, one, you believe you got 75 to 125 years on this world, and that's all you got. There's no consequences afterwards, right? That brings up some interesting choices from people, okay? And that's the secular world, right? Right now, there's a lot of secular people, a lot, right? And we're about to see, and guess what? Who do seculars vote for? Donald Trump or Biden? They vote for Biden, okay? At the majority level, All right. So, sacreds are people who believe in something sacred, something holy, something spiritual, something supernatural. They believe there is a God. They believe there is a soul. They believe there's a spirit. And that when they pass, something happens. They may be regenerated. They may be resurrected. They may be reincarnated. They may float off in a bowl of light, whatever, right? But they believe in a sacred world, right? That some things are holy, some things are set apart, right? Some things are spiritual, some things are supernatural, right? All right, now these two are very understandable, right? And I'm going to say, and actually everybody's aware of these. There's a third group, Mythists. Okay, what are Mythists? Mythists, this is incredible. All right. Now, I learned about Mythists through a fascinating, wonderful lady who I'm a big fan of. Her name is Mayim Bialik. She plays Sheldon's girlfriend, Amy Farrah Fowler, on The Big Bang Theory. Okay. Now the actress's name is Mayim Bialik, and I watch her video blog. Mostly she talks about her divorce. I think that is the main theme of her vlog. I think maybe 5 to 7 or 8 years ago she got divorced. I think this impacted her just tremendously. It just hit her like it just slammed into her, right? And it really hurt. It's very clear it hurt her very personally, and she was just devastated by this change in her life, right? So basically, you have this situation where basically Mayim Bialik, is she a secular or a sacred, right? Well, she's a third column, and I am amazed, a growing column of people. She's a mythist, okay? So Mayim Bialik is Jewish, right? Now, there are lots of sacred Jews who are like, oh yeah, I believe in God, I believe he wrote these laws, and I need to obey these laws in order for whatever's going to happen in the afterlife to happen to me, in order for me to be considered essentially a Jew who is trying to live out a good religious life, right? A sacred Jew. Mayim Bialik is not a sacred Jew, not even remotely. She's talked about this in depth, and I was absolutely fascinated at what she said. So what she believes is she teaches her children Jewish religion, but she doesn't believe Jewish religion. She doesn't believe that it's true. She doesn't believe there's a God. She doesn't believe there are laws that we are bound to religiously. She doesn't believe really in the religion she is teaching her children. She says this, not me. I was amazed when I heard this, right? She says the reason she is teaching these children this is because she thinks there is value in the stories. There is value in the religion, even if you think the religion is false. I was like, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Right? That stunned me, right? Like, knowingly teaching your children things you think are false. I have never done this in my life. I have never taught my child anything that I believed was false. Because why would I do that, right? Like, it just seems so clear that that is a dramatically bad idea, right? But this is the Mythist, right? And they're saying that I don't think, so a secularist believes no God, okay? So there you got your secularist, no God, all right? Then you have a, so you have a secularist who believes there is no God, and then you have a sacredist who believes who fully believes there is a God, and that God is important and powerful and has effect in their life. A secularist believes there's no God. No God has any effect in my life. None. Right? That's incredible, right? So you have this situation, and you're dealing with, with this reality of whether there's a God or not, right? So secularists, no God. Sacreds, yes, there's a God. And now Mythists, and they say, no God, but I will do everything in their sacred texts. I will do many of the things in their sacred texts. And the reason why is I think that none of the things that are taught in this book are true. The things in this, or the core elements of this book, they're not actually true, but the structure has value even in its falsity. I was like, what? That is, wow, right? So one, I applaud the thought behind this, right? I applaud that Mythists are like, I've read the sacred texts and I'm rejecting the sacred texts from a truth veracity perspective, but I'm embracing these sacred texts from a value perspective. Now, here's the hierarchy, okay? Sacred. Those people are on top. To me, this is purely J. Scott Garibay hierarchy of best to worst, right? And just from the funsies perspective of how would I rank these on a tier list, right? Sacreds, right? I live my life as a sacred, right? I believe in a God, and I believe I should do what God tells me to do, right? It's important. I need to really, I need to struggle to be a good Christian, right? And I believe it's true. And I struggle with the sacred text because I believe in the truth of what's presented in it, right? And so sacreds are on top. Secularists are in the middle, okay? And they're like, I reject this, and I'm willing to bet my everlasting life on it, right? That takes some cojones. That really does. That takes some real cojones to be like, I'm betting my eternal future that I'm right. Like, whoa, hey, good luck with that, right? And then last, Mythists. Mythists are on the bottom, right? Why would you teach your children things you believe to be false? It is beyond me. I do not understand why anybody would choose that perspective. It is very, very, it's impossible. I can't understand why anyone would ever choose this option. And generally, and the reason why I'm talking about this is the politics of it. Where will Mythists vote? They're going to vote for Biden. And the sacreds are going to vote for Donald Trump. So who's going to win, right? If Trump only has the sacreds and Biden has the secularists and the Mythists, how will Donald Trump possibly beat Biden, who has two others? Well, it's going to be very, very simple. Sacreds have kids and they vote like crazy, right? And secularists and Mythists really dislike authority, really hate rigid rigid structures, like, and basically, if you're going to vote, you're going to get on a lot of lists, right? Like, you got to be really organized to vote. You really got to be organized to vote. So the reality is, I think, sacreds are going to turn out. And also, those sacred books, they have a bunch of kids, right, who all vote pretty much the same way you do, right? And secrets and mythists are generally having less kids or no kids. And frankly, I don't think they vote nearly at the rates that they don't really vote at the rate that the other people vote. So and that's how I think Donald Trump is absolutely going to beat Biden in the fall, with just the sacreds and virtually no secularists and no mythists. Because at the end of the day, secularists and mythists don't procreate at the same rate as sacreds, and even if they do, they put so much independence into their children, it's unlikely their children will even vote the way they do. And even beyond that, secularists and sacreds, I don't really even, they don't really like teach or get patriotism or civic duty or anything like that at the rate that sacreds do. So I think this is a done deal. I think Trump is absolutely going to smash it, and with just the sacreds, and he's going to beat the secularists and the mythists. All that's my opinion. What I get wrong, let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.